And here's the Ruger M77. Well, got a trigger back in. It's upside down. There's your bolt. And the way this scale works is you pull. As you pull, it will pull that up, and when it breaks, it leaves the yellow on your pound scale. This thing measured about 5.5 before I did the work on it. And let me see here. I'll make sure that I'm getting this on here for you. You want to try and pull back in the direction that your finger would actually pull. That one's 3.5. And this will come down just a little bit. That one went at 4. That's at 3.5. Three and a half there. And that'll probably come down another ½ pound to it'll settle down right around 3 after it's been fired some more and cycled some more. And that is a trigger job on the Ruger. I didn't show everything that I did because it's just, if you do this wrong, you can really run into issues with the gun firing prematurely. I'll show you in a nutshell what has happened here. This area right here, you want to polish it real good. That's the part that engages your sear. Have your pin there, and that is under a little bit of stress. On the trigger right here, this, get it to focus in here, that used to be pointed at an angle that was up like that. I squared it off and then put a 45. We're just talking about a little bit. You can see where I've ground on it right there. I got rid of the tip. And that right there is what takes care of your weight. That gets your pull down. Now on the sear, your sear spring, now the sear is how you get rid of your take-up. Obviously I've polished both sides, but right here, this used to, instead of stopping here, it used to come out farther. And you grind about 15 thousandths, give or take a little bit off of that, and that gets rid of your take-up. And finally, weld it onto that pad and then ground it down to get rid of the over travel. And everything gets polished. And I'm not going to go into any specifics because, you know, I can't stress to you how important it is that you let a qualified smith do this work for you, because if you do this improperly, and when I say improperly, I mean 1/1000th or 1 degree off, and you can run into issues with the gun firing prematurely. If it gets dropped, the gun firing, and things like that are unacceptable. You just can't take a chance whenever you're talking about, this is a hunting gun. So let's say you want to go hunting with a kid. If they knocked it over, if you dropped it, whatever, you could end up having this gun fire when you don't mean for it to. So please use caution when you do any of this work. I just can't stress it enough. And we'll test this one more time. We're a little high on that one. Usually are the first pull after putting it back together. But anyways, that should settle down to about 3. Don't want to go down any farther than that on a hunting gun. I mean, some people go down to 2, but I'd say 3 is about the limit. So, anyways, thanks for watching. And what we're going to be doing here on the sear is we're actually going to be this angle right here. We're going to reduce the distance from right here to right here. Probably, I don't know. Right now we're measuring about 35 thousandths. We're going to bring it down to somewhere, somewhere around 20 thousandths, something like that. We're going to file it down, and that's going to reduce the take-up in the trigger. And that's the first thing we're going to do here. We'll get on the trigger here after a while. Screw in there. What I'm going to actually do is that pad that you see, the shiny part, everything else, that's that heat control paste I've put around it. I'm going to actually weld up that pad just a little bit and then file it back down, and I'm going to get rid of our over travel with by filing instead of putting an adjustment in there, because the gentleman that is getting this is not someone that's going to want to adjust on it. And this way it will be permanent, and we won't have to worry about any issues, any rubber stoppers wearing out or anything like that. And so this is going to be a little bit more permanent way to go about it. And I just wanted to show you guys this. I'll go ahead and videotape here while I weld this pad up a little bit, and let me know what you think. A little bit of an arc. Anyways, I'm using Longevity TIG Weld 160 SX, and it's what I use for all my welding. Phenomenal welder, absolutely love them. anybody's interested in one of these welders, you can contact me. I'm a dealer for them. And that's that. The entire point was just to build up a little area where I can file it back down. And here we go. This is the trigger in progress here. Normally, to get rid of the over travel, right about here, you drill a hole and just run an adjustment screw through there. But those screws have a rubber tip on them to make it a little softer feel, but especially if you're hunting in cold weather or something like that, you run the risk of having problems with those rubber tips and everything. I just like to make something permanent here. So now that I've welded this on here, what I'm doing, you can see that I'm in the process of grinding down, and I'm doing it by hand, that pad until I get the over travel that I want. You want a little bit of over travel so you can follow through with your trigger pull, but you don't want, you know, the gobs of it. You don't want to have to go a mile. As it is right now, you can't. It's got the trigger pinned down. This is so high right now that you can't really make it, you know, even have it close the bolt properly. But it's just a process. You just file a little by hand. Go in and check it. File, check, file, check. It's not a quick process, but it's a good way of doing it. And this is after I've finished filing the pad, and I've bead blasted it to give it all the same look. And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I mean, it's going to be down inside of the gun as long as it is in, you know, good shape, no burrs, nothing hanging off. Went ahead and bead blasted it, and I am going to put some KPhos, the phosphorus treatment, on it, and put this thing together and get it done. I just said get it done. Good Lord.